It's very magical, and there's a little bit of darkness in there. The more tattoos you have, the more beautiful you are. You think that your husband is cheating on you. You go to your local shaman. She will tell you what your significant other is doing. He wears a mask. He's a totally different person in social media and a different person when you get to know him. Most people think that, people would feel ridiculed or like, why would you believe in this kind of thing? There's no scientific evidence for it, right? What really is real, nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
And
break you and smoke you.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Knives or like blades doesn't affect them. I've always been talking to elders in our community, and these knowledge has been passed down to me. I'm always in pursuit of knowing other people's culture.
Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long-Term Podcast. I'm your host, Advin Villa. Today, we have a Filipino tattoo artist and owner of Wild Jasmine Tattoo Studio, Khin Ohiman. We will discuss spirituality in the Philippines, particularly in the Bisayan region, ancient shamanism of the Pulahan, hidden knowledge of the Philippines, and tattoo amulets dating back to Spanish colonialism. Khin is a very jolly, kind, and community-oriented person, and she derives so much value and meaning to making other people's lives better, and she does her research when it comes to just the history of shamanism in the Philippines, and she's very connected with her roots. She does a lot of meditation, prayer, a very spiritual person, and I derived a great deal of value from sitting down with her today. We met when I was doing street interviews like 2-3 weeks ago at a White Ave, and yeah, I'm so thankful for her today with us. And yeah, if you're curious about spirituality and want to augment your life through that route, this episode is for you. Everybody, welcome Khin Ohiman. All right.
I'm still trying to recollect what the hell did I wrote down. It was all brain vomit.
Yeah, well, welcome to the Long-Term Podcast. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Khin Ohiman, everyone.
Hello.
So, how would you describe the unique spiritual beliefs and practices of the Bisayan people, and how do they differ from other regions in the Philippines?
I would describe it. It's very magical, and there's a little bit of darkness in there, right? Like how I would compare it. Let's have some comparison, right? They're both beautiful. Because I went to the northern region of the Philippines, northern parts of the Philippines, in the Kalinga tribe in Buscalan. It's so beautiful there. So we're just gonna go deeper. So I got a tattoo there. So all their tattoos are ornamentals, right? And they're pretty much known for their tattoo artist, Apo Wangod, like the old lady who does the hand tap tattoos. He's over 100 years old. So yeah, it's very different from there because their beliefs, they have their own spiritual beliefs as well, but it's more for around beauty. The more tattoos you have, the more beautiful you are. And not just their tribe, right? There's some other tribes in the Philippines, but that's what's really popular and known. And also their tattoos more like a badge of honor, right? And the spirituality is very different. And sorry, I got sidetracked. What was the question again? Sorry, it was probably my ADHD.
That's all right. That's all right. So, like the unique spiritual beliefs and practices of the Bisayan people, how do they differ from the like other regions? And you mentioned like the tattoos, right? They're a marker of honor, and you gain respect there. And like from like the lady who's like 100 years old.
Yes, their practices is very, very different. Not just the tattoos, but if you go to like their city or like small towns, the energy there is different. I don't feel it as much, but when you're in the Bisaya region, it's very, very strong there. Like you probably in each block and every neighborhood has a local shaman or something,
Mm.
who practices tarot readings, who studies, who does at, astral projections. They
Mm.
call it pasubay, where they would follow a certain person to spy on them. Like,
Mhm.
and it's very common there. Like, yeah, the States does it too.
Mhm.
And but yeah, we do it in the Bisaya region too. The spirituality, you could feel it there. It's very Christian, majority of the Philippines, but it's very unique because you would see you seen the Santo Nino, the baby Jesus?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You probably
Mhm.
have it in your own
It's
family.
right there in the back, right here.
Yeah,
We have a
so
little altar.
it's that you
Yeah.
have your altar, right? We have that too in our ancestral home. We have an altar, this creepy baby Jesus statue, but then you have some sages there and all other herbs and different lots of candles. And most elders, they would do this oracion, or it's like a certain prayer to pray,
Mhm.
depending on what they want, right? On
Mm.
their intention.
Oh. Hey Alexa, stop. Yeah, I totally forgot. Um, yeah, with these prayers though, are there gonna always be a shaman involved, or can you said that there's a guide called like Pasubay? Pasubay
Yes,
is like the
yes.
little kind of adventure that you go on. What does that entail?
So pasubay is so not necessarily there's a shaman, if you know how to do it, you can practice it yourself. So pasubay is an astral projection
Mhm.
that you go to your shaman, like let's say, like let's set an example for you think that your husband is cheating on you. You go to your local shaman that I want you to spy on my husband and then
Yeah.
follow him around in spirit and see what he is up to. And so that's what pasubay means. And then you go back to your shaman, have some reports right there, and then she will tell you what your significant other is doing.
And how reliable is this?
I for me, I've done it. I went to a local shaman too in one of our village. I was so shocked with what I found out because what she told me things that only I know and things that you can even find in the internet. So let's
Mm.
just say I kind of like had somebody, like asked her to follow somebody. This was like some sort of dispute that happened way back in the past. I'm not going to tell, I would not like to tell who this person is
Sure.
because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
might be watching,
Mhm.
but it's more like a personal matter that doesn't revolve around, it revolves around me and affected me heavily. I did this because it affected me so much. So this lady said and told me that this guy lives in this place in the middle of a rice field, and she described what his house looked like, and like where the tables are set up and where the windows are facing, what kind of tree sits behind their house. So I'm like, yeah, I believe it.
What if she just like hired someone to follow that guy around, take some pictures, maybe like a really good uh public or personal investigator? Could have you thought of kind of the different
I,
explanations?
I've thought of that, but
Hmm.
the thing is, the person that I asked her to follow is a very pretentious person. So he wears a mask. He's a totally different person in social media and a different person when you get to know him.
Mm.
So with that, you can't really trust what you see in Instagram or in social media with this guy because
Mm.
he is a different person and out of those.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, what did you ask the shaman? What was the what do you want to find out?
Well, I want to find out if he's doing some sketchy stuff because it was about my family.
Okay, like
Yeah, there
is
was
it
like money matters involved, and there was like um,
Mm.
yeah, like some betrayals and
Oh
stuff
wow,
like
this
that.
is really intriguing. You're
I
really
know,
leaving a lot. Yeah,
very juicy tea.
yeah, yeah.
But yes,
Of course, yeah.
yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, it is about my family, what he's doing behind our backs, because, yeah, very, very, not a good person
Yeah,
to deal with. So
yeah.
that's what I want to know. And yeah, she actually, she told me that where he's from, and you don't see that in social media at all.
So, as a person living in Canada right now, at around Edmonton, I'm a student.
Mhm.
I'm in my fourth year of at the U of A doing psych, and I have some girl trouble here and there, or
Mhm.
maybe just like I want to be successful. How can I use this shaman to leverage kind of my life to be able to augment my pursuit of who I am, to discover myself? Is it more finding out about what other people are doing, or can I prompt the shaman to ask me things about my past, my history, who am I?
What I would do, like in your situation, you're looking for, um, to better your life, getting to know yourself. Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you want to do. That's your intention. I've done something that helped me too. Have you heard of a novena?
Havana?
Novena.
Novena, no.
Okay.
No.
So it's actually asking for divine intervention. Like, don't stop people. Like, that's not necessary. I think what you just need is mental clarity.
Mm,
Yeah. I've I've done this practice before, and one of my experiences, it was not me though. I've done it on my boyfriend.
mhm,
so
mhm.
so this was the time when we started dating. I think you should do it too. So since a novena is asking for divine intervention, it's a prayer that you do within 9 days at the same time, and you pray to a certain patron, saint, angel. Like, let's say you're asking for clarity, you look up the patron for, um I don't know, for that.
Mm,
And if you're looking for protection, you go to, Saint Michael, the
okay.
archangel, or
Yeah.
like, yeah, is that what you call it, Saint Michael the archangel?
I'm not sure. No.
Yeah,
Are you
Michael the
yeah.
archangel. Yeah,
Yeah. Are you Christian?
I am.
Oh,
I
okay.
am, but I
But
believe in a lot of things.
yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah. I feel like I guess Christians, there's only prayer and it's very one-sided, but
Hmm.
when you apply meditation and you apply kind of shamans into the mix,
Hmm.
and kind of the more lean on to the spiritual side of things, it's not just linear, right? It's kind of
Hmm.
all over the place. So you get this holistic approach.
Hmm.
And I'm the same way because I explore other religions like Buddhism, and I'll ask people about their own religion. And I got my buddy who's Hindu, got my
Hmm.
buddy who's Muslim. And while my main belief is Christianity, I still derive a lot of value from meditation, or just like having things that are haram. Like, what does
Hmm.
that mean?
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm really curious as to how people derive meaning and value, because there is value to every form of religion. Hey, because like it's got a huge following. Like, to
Hmm.
believe in something bigger than yourself, it's freedom, I'd say. Um, so what role do ancestral traditions and indigenous beliefs play in modern Bisayan spirituality?
Like, the old beliefs, traditions that they do that we apply up to this day. There's different ones, right? Like what I've wrote down. What was it? The hidden knowledge. It's hidden, but not really hidden. We do it a lot of time, and that is the novena. We do it up to this day, but nobody actually knows what it is and what power it holds. We use it during funerals, in church, and some kind of stuff. And for me, that helped me as well. That's what I lean to and helped me a lot, especially with the mental clarity. I do it all the time. And yeah, it's hard because modern Filipino, it's so techy now, right? There's probably a couple of Filipinos that you know who are into spirituality, especially regarding around their roots. Like and it's not something that you talk about every day or in public. It's very, very personal. So I don't know that much about modern or other modern Filipinos. I only know from what I do because, yeah, we don't talk about it a lot.
What do you
Mhm.
think that is?
I think it's because most people think that, like people would feel ridiculed or like, why would you believe in this kinds of thing? There's no scientific evidence for it, right?
Mm,
And I
yeah.
think that's part of it why a lot of people
Mhm.
doesn't want to talk about their beliefs and their spirituality.
Yeah, it's like I can't see it. Why are you telling me this?
That
Is it?
it exists or
Yeah,
that it's real, but
yeah.
we see it. I mean, not see it, but we use it every day. Like we use Wi-Fi. We believe what we don't see Wi-Fi, our
Mhm.
cellular phones, the signals, yet we do it on a regular basis on our everyday lives. But why it's so different with our spirituality, right?
Mhm.
And how that magic works or whatever you call it,
Yeah,
right?
and I think even science,
Mm-hmm.
right? Prior to, as you said, Wi-Fi, prior to phones, cars, to the internet, if you described it to someone who hasn't lived it, it sounds crazy. Like
It does.
if I told someone back in the 1800s that there is this platform you can access from a little rectangle that
Mm-hmm.
fits right in your pocket, and you can access people's attention and you can communicate with them
Mm-hmm.
without any wiring, from across
Mm-hmm.
the other world, they would think you're a lunatic.
Yeah.
Like, get this, they'd probably burn you.
Yeah. Or
I mean,
like,
Copernicus.
throw you in the river and see you do float,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
It's
stuff
like,
like that.
so I think why is spirituality so different than this? It's not. I think there's so much evidence as to what prayer and what believing in something bigger than yourself. There's
Mhm.
moms lifting 1,000-pound cars
Mhm.
after their loved ones underneath it, and
Yeah.
there's no why are they, how can they do that, right? You could say adrenaline,
Mhm.
you could say they're just in shock, but how can the human body go to the utmost pain and suffering and do such remarkable things? I don't think we understand all of life or the reality right now. I think we're still at like 1%,
Yeah. Well, humans are evolving species, right?
Yeah.
We don't know everything yet. We're very, very young.
Yeah.
And our technology is just starting to skyrocket with the AI, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, with that, I think astrology or like spirituality is just something that we haven't fully understand yet. That's why we don't have the scientific evidence of it yet. Doesn't mean it doesn't have any scientific evidence. It doesn't mean that it is real, right? Like
Mhm.
even way back then, electricity, nobody could understand what it was, or even fire way back in the, what do you call that? Like caveman period. What do you call that thing? It's in the tip.
The BC,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
500 BC.
And yeah, but it doesn't mean that it is not real, or like even electricity way back then, it didn't exist, right? Just because science doesn't back it up yet. There are so many things that science hasn't backed up yet, but it doesn't mean that it is not real because there's no certain explanation. I think we just don't fully understand it yet.
Yeah. I think anyone who says who they're very certain on one thing and they always want evidence, or
Mhm.
they think they know everything,
Mhm.
it's a bit arrogant, right? For
Mhm.
you to get to know everything already, because
Mhm.
I think every day we're constantly evolving, right?
Mhm.
Last year you had less knowledge and you knew yourself less,
Mhm.
you know, for better or for worse,
Mhm.
right? Because a lot of things that we experience could be our downfall, or it could be what makes us be better, more uplifted.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's just, I think spirituality is something that we all need. I think
Mhm.
that's, you know, if you look at caves from even in through, if you look at professors that
Mhm.
study uh, mankind
Mhm.
and the bones, um, there's scriptures, or there's writings or little drawings to
Mhm.
indicate that there's evidence that we always believed in something greater than ourselves,
Mhm.
than the physical. And whether that be, you know, whether it be all make believe,
Mhm.
I think it empowers people.
Mhm.
Like for me, the way I see it is, if I'm wrong and I believe, but I still believed in it, and
Mhm.
because I believe in a heaven, I
Mhm.
believe in a hell, I
Mhm.
believed in God, I believe in Jesus. And if I was wrong, at least I followed it to the best of my abilities, and I made the world a better place, right?
Mhm.
And it's made my life better. And
Yeah.
I don't, like, yes, that I've heard many people argue that, oh, it's caused wars and it's
Mhm.
caused these different ideologies, and people press on it and become extremists. But I think for the most part, right, I think it's caused great, good. And I think the teachings in themselves,
Mhm.
they're great. So you talk about the spirit and the soul, like not to judge anyone and to be free and to understand yourself better.
Mhm.
Right?
But here's the thing, nobody actually really knows what's beyond life, right? Because there's only a few people who died and then came back, and then they have all different experiences and explanation what is beyond life. Most
Mm-hmm.
people would say that they meet their other, their loved ones, but most of them, like, there's some people who's like went to hell and, met their loved ones, but what really is real, nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like what you said, as long as it makes your life better, I don't think, yeah, you believe whatever you want, right? As long
Yeah.
as you're not hurting other people and you live your life to the fullest and be the best you can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Were you always spiritual? Were you always uh, really curious about kind of the spiritual side of things and wanting to better yourself?
I think like where I'm from influenced me a lot, especially the house where I used to live,
Mm-hmm.
because there's lots of spiritual things in our house that, things that you cannot explain.
Agda. yeah, yeah, yeah.
Basig.
Yeah. Okay, so for the listeners, there's this so in Bisaya, or I guess is that also in Tagalog?
I'm not quite
But
sure,
okay, I've
but
heard
go
it
on.
many times, and they're so convinced. My family says it all the time, and it's been passed on. In certain trees, you're supposed to respect that area, because there's this like really really big man that called an agta, and if they see you disrespecting them, or if they just see you wandering alone, you
Mhm.
know, they will pick you up,
Mhm.
break you, and smoke you.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I think they're like called different names in different regions, right? I
Yeah.
think in like the northern part of the Philippines, they call them capre.
Capre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would like, yeah, hang around,
Yeah.
hang around on trees.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you believe in all that?
I I haven't heard or have any personal experiences regarding that, but I've had experiences, and at our house, I every visitor that we have at our house, they the first
Mm-hmm.
visitors, and they would see something, and they would always see the same thing over and over again. They said that whenever they visit their home, there would always be uh, a shadow on our stairs, like a boy, like is something small hanging around on our stairs. Just would, that movie
Damn.
Grudge?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
something like that would hang around on our stairs, but it's like just a shadow.
Do you think it was a good entity though?
I don't know. I don't know. Could be just, our house is very dysfunctional. Could it be just that?
Yeah.
So I think it could be anything. I didn't look that much into it, And
Yeah.
there was this one time too, our neighbors were like digging their house. They were building their house, and so they were doing some digging.
Yeah.
They found some bones in there. And then after that, my auntie was having all these weird dreams. She said that there's this guy who keeps appearing like in my dreams, or she would half asleep and she would see a figure in her room saying that they're digging again.
Mm.
And then she was like, what the hell do I have to do with it?
Yeah,
Right?
that's crazy. Maybe it's just like trying to tell her something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody who probably could, who could see things.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
sometimes like I'll be in my kitchen and then like in the corner of my eye I'll just see a figure. And like, oh, it's just like the curtains, right? Or it's just like this, but like I wonder if it's actually someone.
Or you just, your mind is just messing with you.
Yeah, yeah. Cause like, I don't know, I really feel, I believe that my ancestors are watching me. You know what I mean?
I think they are.
Like I feel like when I do a bad deed, they're all like, "Oh, why would you do that?" Right?
There's always receipts, and then it backfires all the time for you to learn your lesson.
And then sometimes they probably can't look at me. They're like, "Oh, what is this guy doing?" Right?
Yeah.
Or like some days they're cheering. Yeah, and one of these days I'll join them and I'll look at like the next lineage and I'll be the one cheering too. And I bet you they probably don't have as much control. They're just like observers. But I bet you in like maybe dreams, maybe they're trying their best to make it work.
But I think like making mistakes, and it backfiring, that is also essential, because that's how we learn our lessons, right? By making mistakes and correcting them. So I guess that is very important as well. And it's okay to make mistakes. It make you like think of it like it's not the end of the world, but there's actually more room to improve yourself and better yourself, and then you move on.
Yeah. Well, nobody's perfect, right? But I'm just like, they probably made mistakes. So when when my ancestors are looking at me and they're like, "Oh, it's okay, we make mistakes." Maybe some of them are a lot more understanding, right? But yeah, nobody's perfect, and for you to expect a life that's perfect is futile, because
where's the fun in it?
Yeah, sooner or later you will hurt someone, whether you like it or not.
I think that's inevitable too, especially if you love somebody. It's you hurt them. Yeah. But it's not like that's your intention. Sometimes it just happens, and then you learn from it, you apologize, you better yourself, move on.
Yeah. And so how have colonial influences shaped or altered spiritual practices to the Bisayan over time?
Very, very different. Like how it altered, eh? Well, yeah, Christianity is there's a huge population of Christianity and colonized because of the heavy influence of colonization in the Philippines. You see it everywhere. Like shamanism is almost completely erased. There's only a couple of people who practices it now, right? Because everyone is like into religion, Christianity. I think it's because too, like how our own spirituality and identity were like almost wiped out during the colonization because it was so villainized. It was not illegal though, but it was so oppressed. It was like the way of the church way back then to control the people way back then. And I think it still has its effects up to this day because, when a lot of people say, "Oh, why are you into shamanism? That's freaking evil. You're going to go to hell," things like that. And I think some of that we lose our identity.
And it was Spain, right? Spain was the one that took us over.
Yeah.
But which other countries? Did Japan come?
Yeah, and the Americans. The Americans, like the Spaniards, sold us to the States.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm looking at some pictures of like just the natives in the Philippines, and with the curly hair,
it's
right?
very
and
different.
Like the darker skin. Right now, I'm looking at my brothers and like even my father. Like we all look kind of
Different.
like Spanish, and then
because we're colonized by different, different cultures.
But actually, my brother did a little evolution, like little. When those Pokemon, like when they go through like the next phase,
He evolved.
He evolved, into like he became more native, like to the Philippines land because he had the curly hair.
Oh, I
like,
see.
He looks really Mexican now.
Probably because of the humidity too, right? It has have effect. Or how your hair grows probably there. Because when I went to the Philippines, my hair was very, very nice and wavy. It has these natural curls. I think it's like when you go to the beach too. I think that adds to it. When I was in the Philippines, I was on the beach for like a whole month and my hair was very, very wavy. Like it's almost curls.
Do you burn? Get out in the sun all day or do you put sunscreen?
I don't believe I did.
No?
No.
Yeah, because I rarely get burns these days, and I'm out in the sun like 24/7. Right? And
I don't believe like any of us will burn under the sun. We have like very nice melanated skin,
Yeah, like you don't ever hear any barely any cases of skin cancer too in the Philippines, eh?
No, I don't think so. I think do you think people get it here more often because people here don't get vitamin D because of the winter?
Just like, I guess white people, right, with lack of melanin and that too. And then when they do go to the sun, like, I mean, we don't actively tan as well. I heard in Australia, they have the worst case of skin cancer because us Filipinos, right, we're scared to be dark. Like, I don't know about the culture now, but growing up, it's still to this day, my nanay, she hates the sun, like because it makes her skin dark, and dark is associated with ugliness. And there's, for all the viewers out that don't know too, there's whitening products in the Philippines.
Kojic soap. Oh my god. Yeah. Silka, lots of whitening soaps, right? And I think that was rooted during colonization because if you're darker, that means you work in the field, and then they look down on you because you're a farmer, you work outside. And if you have lighter skin, then it means you work inside. So you have a nicer status in the, in the society.
Yeah. Which is the opposite here. Because if you're tan, that means you have time for vacations, you're wealthier. But if you're white or more pale, that means you're stuck inside all day. You're probably studying. You got no time. You don't have a life, which is crazy. And the culture is still like that in the Philippines, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. You usually have an office job if you got white skin. You're like some sort of bank teller.
And lighter skin are more praised there, more than, tan. Yeah. And it's sad because like, why would like a person's skin, determine how you treat them or like, the respect and all that stuff. Yeah.
It's still popular. Hey, like the white
there's racism
products.
in there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Hey, I can't. My mom growing up told me, yes, you have to stay out of the sun. You have to be white. You have to be white because
and you don't get it. Like, why? I love playing outside.
Yeah, playing outside.
But that's the innocence of a child, right? And that is nice.
Yeah, but now you come here to Edmonton, and they or Sherwood Park as well, Canada.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, no, they love the tan skin. Right? They want to be this color. Which is crazy
That's
to think.
Like a trend. Yeah, people would like pay for tanning products and all that stuff, and I'm like, people are crazy, and makes you think like humans are never actually contented with what they have. And it kind of like puts you in a reflection that, this is very, very weird.
Yeah. Like it's always greener on the other side. It's like you always want something that you don't have.
Yeah, right. And I think like people should more realize that grass will always be greener when you water it. You just need to be content and like tend your own garden.
Yeah, no, exactly. Can't be looking at other people's gardens. Yeah.
True.
And so who were the Pulahan? Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, Pulahan.
Yeah. And what was their role as shamans and spiritual leaders in the Philippine history?
Oh, have you heard of them? Because they're from your island.
No, I'm not educated in that area.
Okay, I would like to hear if if your mom comes home, if your parents come home, if you'd ask them if they've heard about it, because they were they're a religious militant group in the Philippines in Leyte and Samar. It started when this guy Ponciano, he's the one who collects the tax in his area, and then he failed to collect tax, and then the Spaniards were so mad at him, like, why aren't you doing your job,
Mhm.
And so it's sad because they beat the shit out of his dad to the death, and that sparked something in him and inspired him to rebel against the Spaniards. So he rallied people in his area, in his village, that, the oppression should stop. And so he formed this group. People call it it's like a cult, in the Philippines, but they call themselves like a religious militant group that fights against the Spaniards during those times. And they combined shamanistic um, stuff to modern Christianity, because that's what they were taught, right? They were like taught by the Spaniards to neglect or forget about, shamanistic rituals and embrace Christianity. So they've actually merged both, since they practice Christianity already and they know shamanistic practices. They merged both and they used it as a weapon against the Spaniards. And there's lots of rituals that they do to help them or protect them when they go to battle.
So were they just casting spells? Like how did they leverage shamanism with Christianity to fight against them? Like did they pray them away? Like
Yes. They're very popular with their martial arts. So they study martial arts as well, like
Mhm.
old Filipino martial arts. And they have bolo knife. They actually physically go to war too. So, but aside from that, they do stuff in the shadows, such as rituals. What they do in the rituals is to they ask for guidance and protection. That's what it's for. That way, when they go to battle, they're protected and they're not, they're actually known, Palahans are actually known that knives or like blades doesn't affect them. Like, it's very common when they would do the knives like this and then it doesn't cut them. That's like one of their tricks. Or like if a bullet, if they got shot, it doesn't work on them.
So they were empowered by combining shamanism, kind of the spiritual side of things, with their roots with Christianity, which is kind of what the Spaniards placed in their heads, and because they still believed in that too.
Yes.
But they went to war with them, went to all these battles, and they used the two areas and they won because of that. And they attribute a lot of their winnings towards kind of their religious and their faith side of things.
They've had their winnings too, but at the end they disbanded because of just how much has happened. A lot of Palahans died, and for a lot of reasons, and changing of leaders that affected it too. They went to this battle, and thousands or hundreds of Palahans died when they fought the Spaniards, or probably the Americans. There was some conflict, and yeah, over time, the Philippines gained their freedom. They disbanded. Yeah, they were gone.
Yeah. What's can you share some examples of like hidden knowledge that have been preserved or passed down through oral traditions in the Philippines?
Oral traditions in the Philippines, there's not much, like one of them is the one we tackled, that that novena. That's one of the oral traditions. But I don't know, have you heard, it's not actually oral, but it's more of a written. a written tradition. Everyone is so different. So I could only talk, like, it's not much talked in the Philippines. So I could only talk based on my experience. I know some of my classmates or people who I grew up with, they've had their own experiences because they have elders in their family as well. So most of these are really the power of prayer. Like that is the most powerful thing. And you have to be very, very intentional as well. Prayers are believed to be spells too by shamans in our place because it consists of words and they believe that words are power. And any prayer would do, but there are powerful prayers out there too, like the Creed, Our Father. So those stuff, they're used for oracion, for prayers. And that's what it is passed down as well, right? But aside from prayers, there's like stuff and bits that I was taught. I don't know if there are other people my age knows about this too. There's this lady who taught me to charm people. She's like, you do this oracion while when you take a bath or you take a shower. So this will help you excel or, just people to have like lighter, they're more welcoming towards you, or like elevate your energy or something. And so she would say that you do this before you take a shower. And like, because, you've went to the Philippines and we have this thing called tabo and a balde, right? A bucket.
Mhm.
And then you put it right there. So she said that in that bucket of water, you pray over it. And then you shower in it. She said, I've never heard of that you pray over the water that, take a bath with or shower with. But she said it's very effective. I'm like, I guess it is because like basically got everything what it could. But I think it's like, effort as well, how you try to better yourself and then just adds to it. Call it placebo effect or like something psychological. But yeah, that's how she told me how to do it.
Yeah, I'd kind of have the same thing or most people when they pray for food, right? You bless the food.
Yes.
So when you eat it, you feel more gratitude, you can get through pain much better. You can endure more because God is by your side and you literally bless the food. And I feel like
you consume.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I've never thought about that. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. She said, bless the water that you bathe into. And I'm like, and that's what I had been doing, like, when I was in college.
Oh, wow. And do you think it worked?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe.
It's awesome. Are there any other little kind of spiritual techniques that you leverage in your everyday life?
Have you heard of habak?
Habak?
Because that one that I shared with you, when you bless the water, it's some sort of lumay. That's what they call it. But have you heard of habak? Okay, I have one in my bag.
Sure, I'd like to. Yeah, show it. Okay. Show me, please. Yeah. Habak.
They said because so this one right here.
Is that Pikachu?
Yeah, it's a Pikachu. This one is like 10 years old. I've had it since I was in college.
Okay. Is that also another technique?
No. This is where I hide things, just for, put them in one place. Yeah. So yeah, she said she put it right here in this little pocket. She said it's full of Latin script. Oh. And it's written stuff. And then this is called I don't know, it may be a protection or something. So just look closely. There's like papers in there, right? She said she's written something in there, prayer, some sort of oracion, and there's this different kinds of herbs in here. There's like probably gold leaf or some metal in there. And then a couple of rocks. Yeah. She said to like put it on your forehead and then put a cross in here. And then she said, you'll be protected. And that's what like the Pulahan has too. They have this very popular oil.
You don't mind putting it closer to the mic? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oil. Yeah.
They're very famous for this oil that they carry with them that could heal any wounds or any ailments.
Wow.
And yeah, so those stuff are very, very popular in the Bisayan region, especially in Siquijor. But yeah, they've had their influences too in Davao, but you know, it's different because it's very underground. In Siquijor, you could easily like buy them outside of the church.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh wow.
Which is very ironic, right? Because I'm like, why would you sell like witchcraft or shamanistic thing outside of church? But that's where, you know, culture and religion and spirituality merge.
I love that. That's awesome. Like people just have that in their bag so they feel much more protected, right? And much more grounded. And not only that, if everybody partakes in it, that's just a way to bond, right? A way to feel more a part of the community.
It is. Yeah. I really had fun, like, you know, with the elders that I go to and I see when I was younger, because this is when I was like when I was still getting to know myself, or I was still in college and, you know, I was still confused which path to take. And yeah, it definitely helped me a lot to like gain more clarity because of them.
It's important to be able to discuss life with your elders, hey, because they've already lived a full life, or maybe not quite full, but they've gone through their 20s and 30s and 40s, right? And I recently just interviewed people in the silent generation, and I think there was like a couple people in like the baby boomers. So a lot of these people were in their 80s, 90s, and some were like 70s. And I think there was one guy in his 60s, and you derive so much value from their life and what they went through, and what do they choose to talk about. Like if you ask them those really deep questions, right, onto their faith, onto relationships, onto interests, or onto how to tackle problems, like they've gone through it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They've been through a lot. Yeah, there was this another interesting guy that I met in Samo Island. It's an island in front of Davao City. They have different spiritual beliefs as well. There's this thing called mamikbikay, and people would tap you, and they said that you should watch out for them because most of these people have ill intentions towards you. You know, they would pass illness. They don't like you just out of petty reasons like jealousy, or like they don't want to see you succeeding in life.
And they curse you.
Yeah, they curse you. They hex you. So they hex you through tap, and then, you know, they would be like hide it through like subtle gestures like, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you for a while. And you don't know that this person is a hidden hate or like a secret hater of yours, right?
That's why I always tell my friends whenever they're talking down on themselves to not do that, because you're casting a spell on yourself.
Yeah. Words are power, and words are spell.
If you look in the mirror and go, I'm stupid, I'm so ugly,
that becomes your reality.
That becomes your reality.
It does.
So, and the more you do that, the more you strengthen that spell. And next thing you know, the antidote may just not work anymore because you've strengthened that spell.
That's what you feed, you know, what you feed, what becomes stronger, and that becomes your reality. That's why like mantra, like, you know, speaking mantra or like doing it in front of the mirror is very, very important to like, do not like talk down to yourself or like that at all, because you're giving it power. You're giving your insecurities, your fear power. It's much better to always like speak healthy or speak good about yourself and also about other people, right? Because you're not only lifting yourself, you're lifting other people, and you both win when you lift each other. We become a better community.
Yeah, it's always great to be able to uplift others, but at the same time, it may be harder to do it with yourself. That's why I got 2 banks, and I transfer money in between. And you know that little message when you're like trying to interact, e-transfer to someone, I put I love you every time.
Oh, that is so sweet.
To myself.
That is
I'm reading
so
that. I'm like,
sweet.
thank you, me.
Yeah, but yeah, that's very, very good. That's
Yeah.
very good.
I don't know, just like positive self-talk,
Yeah.
because like if you're not all up here, like why would you rather have the world hate you but you love yourself, or would you rather love yourself but the world hate you? You know what I mean? Like
The variant.
you would much rather you love yourself.
Mhm.
Granted, those are extremes, right?
Mhm.
But if you were given the choice, I think it would be a lot better if you just love yourself,
Who fucking cares?
Yo, who the fuck gives a shit, right?
Yeah,
But
that is true.
yeah,
That is true.
yeah. Oh yeah, and as I was reading the kind of the document with the questions that I sent you, you said
It's
you
very
said you
casual.
knew that you were gonna be in the podcast before
Yeah,
even coming on. What does it tell?
Yeah, I knew I was
Yeah.
going to be in your podcast.
Yeah.
The moment I met you in White Ave, I knew that it will lead to something.
Mhm.
It's like a domino effect.
Okay.
So I talked to this lady. Her name is Ashley Snipes. She is my reader. She's an astrologer. She told me that, and you're going to have a lucky encounter in July, and this will happen at an event that you don't even want to go. So I did not want to go to White Ave because it's a 3-day event. You set up, you tear down every day. And for me, I do not have any artwork or prints to sell in White Ave. So I've already expected I'm not going to make any money. But for me, it was more on connecting, networking, meeting new people that I could lure to my business, And then when she told me that it's going to be at an event that I don't want to go, I've already I love Art Walk. I benefited a lot from it, but the teardown for me was too much work because I have to bring my own tent and then, bring my own tables. And then you have to find a parking lot, and walking across the street multiple times,
Hard work, yeah.
setting up your grid. I would do it again though, but it was a pain in the ass, when you're there, it is really, when you're immersed and you're talking to people, it's a really good feeling getting to know all the other people. But the setting up and tearing down was a pain in the ass. But, yeah, I would do it again next year. But yeah, this lady told me that she said, like, this is an event that you're actually thinking of not even wanting to go because, just because of how it works. And then as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh, I already know which event this is going to happen. It's going to be an art walk. And she said, you are going to meet somebody there. And then he will caught you off guard, but just roll with it.
Right.
And so when you talk to my boyfriend, Cody, you were going to interview him. So
Yeah,
Cody is
yeah.
a very, very shy person. He's not very social, And so when he referred you to me, I was like, I was shocked.
No,
I wasn't expecting it.
He was like, "Oh, she definitely wants to be interviewed." That's what he said. Yeah.
Like I wasn't expecting it. Yeah, I would want to be interviewed, but like not like that. And I'm like, you just like asked me the most random question. I felt like I was in Miss Universe.
Yeah.
When you asked me what was life about, and I'm like, yeah, what is life about? You really made me think about it at that point, But yeah, I was really, really surprised because I wasn't expecting it. I mean, like I knew that it was going to happen, but I didn't know how it was going to go. So she told me that it's going to happen. I will meet somebody who could lead to another event, and it's like a domino effect that could open different doors. So, and I'm like, she said, yeah, just roll with it. And then I rolled with it. And then when I met you, when I knew that you caught me off guard, and I'm like, oh, that's the guy. That's what she meant.
Yeah. And then I was looking through your Instagram, like, wow, this is like some pretty cool tattoos. And she was like very kind and she was very open, and I felt really welcomed. And like, I need to see what her
Yeah.
life's all about, see what she's passionate about. And
Mhm.
so I reached out, and
Mhm.
here we are.
Yeah, here we
Yeah,
are.
domino
So
effect. Yeah,
I don't know what, where this will lead, but
yeah,
I hope that, it will shed some light, because yeah, we're talking about Palahans, right? And
mm,
we're going to be talking about, tattoos and what are their impacts in the Bisaya region. And not a lot of people knows about it.
mm-hmm,
I've seen a lot of posts about people, especially foreigners, who are like taking pictures of these people when they're topless, and they have like
right,
all these scripts in their body, but not knowing what they're really meant.
mm-hmm,
And then I'm like, I know that came from, where I'm from. So I'm like, maybe I could like share some knowledge and my experiences, what they're about and where they came from.
yeah. You always have to tell people what you know. Like, if you don't have any hate in your heart, it's best to just speak up. Just tell people what you know, because a lot of us, we go, oh, maybe it's cringy, maybe they don't want to listen to me, maybe,
Yeah.
but it's just cool to know about a fact, or cool to know about where that came from. Like, does that, it'll make someone's life better. And by going about and following your passions, doors just keep unlocking. Like, I wouldn't have met you if my friend Morgan wasn't as enthusiastic about doing the interviews as I was. And I wouldn't have met Morgan if didn't stay in contact with my friend Adri. And Adri is great, and he's going into law school, and we've developed this friendship that's very healthy. And I wouldn't have met Adri if I didn't come to Canada. You
Yeah,
know what I
right?
mean?
It's a
And
domino
yeah, and
effect.
then I think in the future, I think you invited me to that
Filipino.
Filipino fiesta, which I think will unlock more doors and will lead me to a path of beauty and positivity. And I think the people that I look up to, David Goggins, Andrew Huberman, this guy, Chris Williamson, a lot of these top podcasters that I really, really admire, a lot of these business moguls, what they say is to just follow what feels right. And kind of that's what I've been doing. And yes, I experience a lot of pain still, and there's still hard days, but it seems like my life is getting better, and I
Mhm.
like through prayer and meditation, and it just feels right. Like,
It
that,
does.
like, we all know what's good and bad for us,
Mhm.
right? You just keep tipping on the good side, and eventually you'll get what you deserve.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very important to like talk about these kind of things and give it to the collective, because what we're talking about, not a lot of people knows about it. It's a dying culture. From where I'm from, like people I know who were my age, when I try to talk about them or try to talk about them, they don't know anything where this came from. And so, as a person like me, I've always been talking to elders in our community, and these knowledge has been passed down to me. I think it would be much better to like at least share what I've gained or like learned from them,
Yeah.
just to like preserve and like let people know our roots and where we came from.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so important to be able to extract that knowledge from your elders and be able to instill that into the next generation, because who is going to uphold it, right? And because there's that shock value, that emotional value when it's coming from another human being, because you could learn all about it. I'm sure it's on the internet. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure it's all in there and you can read up on it. But when you're hearing it from someone, their personal stories and how it's affected their meals, their connections, their dreams, their ambitions, you get to access another light like this, from a different frequency,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I see you're very into your tattoos, right? And that's something I'm sure the elders have advised you on too. So what was the cultural and spiritual significance of tattoo amulets during the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines?
It's for protection.
Yeah.
It is for protection. So, when we talked about earlier how like tattoos in different tribes, it's like a badge of honor that they get after something like challenge or fighting. So the tattoo in the Bisayan region, you get it before you go to war because these are believed to have powers and protect who or the person who's it tattooed on, right? So it's very common that one of you see in like, I don't know, are you familiar with the L LNK Facebook page?
I know MMK. No,
No, that's a different one.
no.
So LNK is a Facebook page. It says Lihim na Kaalaman. It's hidden knowledge, and it's like a forum of different people with shamanistic experiences and knowledge, and they would contribute to this group page and like old scriptures, and they would ask people, "Hey, what does this mean?" and this, what is this for? And yeah, that's where I was like doing all my other research as well, right? And then most of the artwork that I've seen, and very common on people, is Byzantine artworks, like like old photos of the Virgin Mary and Jesus, and then it is surrounded by words that you tell yourself. And when we talked about earlier like how words have powers, it 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 says that I am unbreakable, God is God the creator, Christ reigns, Christ conquers, Christ commands. So all these other words that have meaning, or like golden light, God the savior, and it would wrap around these artwork, and they said that they will give you power. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like that on on tattoo. I only seen that where I came from.
Yeah. So they're contributing to this. Is it on one person's body or is it on all of theirs?
What do you mean?
So you said that there's a tattoo. Does everybody have this tattoo that they
Not
have?
really. It depends on your intention, right? So you have to be very intentional with what you put on your body. The it's very common you put Jesus Christ and Mary in there and all the words. It's about protection and all that stuff. So it depends on the person if you want to get them. Not everyone gets them.
No. Like with this, you said there was a group of them.
Yeah, Pulahan did.
Yeah,
Pulahan did.
You said that there was a collective nature to be able to build up, and they asked questions, and then they added tattoos, like collectively. Were they suggesting to each other, to get this tattoo, to get to that one? Did people have like a
there's no like evidence that everybody has it, but the evidence is they do it. So they've influenced like a lot of people too. In Davao, we see it too. There's some like older men who has like tattoos of the Virgin Mary that has scriptures, Latin scriptures right there. And yeah, they believe that it protects them.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. It can really, really strengthen your resolve, right?
Yeah,
to have these.
It could be, I think it's psychological too, it's like a placebo effect. And yeah, when we talked about earlier, like how words have power, I see it. It's very, very common too. I see it in my clients. I think what you put in your body, like holds power over you, gives, has power over you. One of the most common thing is when some of my clients have tattooed the script, let them. Most of these people that I know who has these tattoos are very, very nice, caring people that they have overextended themselves to the point that they sacrifice their own happiness, and their own comforts because they think that they're responsible for other people's, emotions, or just responsible in general for other people. And they when they put the script, let them, it kind of like reminds them that they are not responsible for other people. Those people are responsible for their own doings and how they react. So it kind of like lifts them or like reminds them that, yeah, it is okay to step back. Or like if these people fuck around or like if they make mistakes, then that is their lesson and not my burden or my lesson to learn, you know?
Yeah. You can try so hard to be kind, compassionate, and all these myriad noble virtues, and with the best of intentions. But even Jesus got nailed to a cross and called names when he had the best of intentions, right? When you're just a mortal, what chance do you have with people that just don't want to listen to you, that see the bad in everything that you do and want to harm you even? And it's best to just let them, right? To let them be who they are. And if it's not affecting you, right? Who cares what they think, right? And if they're physically trying to hurt you, then of course, you need to protect yourself. But in most cases, right, in our society, it's more just the electrical signals in their heads going, this person sucks, I don't like this person. And it's hard to be able to stomach that, but it's good to learn that, oh, it's okay. I can endure that. So, how did you get started with tattoos? Like, did you have your own little kit? Because it must be, you have to train for it, right? I mean, it's permanent. So I guess you do temporary ones first, or no? Wow. Straight on the skin.
Yeah. And like it is not advisable though. How I did it, I've done it. Yeah, is not advisable. So, it's really, really crazy. I was in college. This was way back then when I was still pursuing fine arts, major in painting, so I'm an understudy of fine arts. And, I was broke, when you're in college, you want to party and you want to study at the same time.
And this is where in the Philippines is this?
In Davao, University of Mindanao. So,
what were you taking?
Fine arts, major in painting.
Right. And
art.
Then there's no tattoo kind of?
No tattoo. I was like very, very drawn to art. I didn't know where it could lead, but I was just like, I went to take that course without any plan. I was just like, this is what I want to do. I'm very drawn to it. I don't know what I'm going to do after this course, but I'm just going to take it because there's that very, very strong pull for me to take it. And then somehow that going to school for arts is my foundation for tattoos.
Were your parents like, no, don't take
hell
this?
Yeah.
There's no future.
Big time. Like, are you kidding me? We're in the Philippines.
Yeah, of course.
So art is very, not that big or like something that you shouldn't take because the starving artist mentality is pretty huge there. Like, there's no money in art. But I'm like, yes, but, it's very rare to have money and you should be grateful when you get it through art because not everyone gets the opportunity. But I think it is essential to do art because that's what people live for, right? We do it every day. We have it every day in our lives. That's, it's our essence, like sustenance. That's what it is. I don't think a person could live without it. And I think it is very essential that we preserve that. And that way we could pass it to the next generation.
Yeah. And then you said that you started right on the skin. Was it on yourself or was it with other people?
It was on other people. It was on one of my friends.
A lot of trust.
Yeah, lots of trust. Lots of trust. Yeah, my friend invited me to go to this restaurant. And then I'm like, I can't afford it. I only have like $20, less than $20 to budget for the rest of the week, because like you overspend and then you kind of like, I'll improvise.
How many pesos was that?
1,000 pesos and for a week. That's probably a lot, but when you have a lifestyle, you're in college, you want to do this, you you like want to hang out with other kids, they want to go here, and you don't want to miss out on some fun because you're young, and there's lots of things that you could do that you could get away with. It's not like when you're adult you have lots of responsibilities. So yeah, that was my life in college. And then I'm like, dude, I can't afford to dine out right now because I'm broke. And he said, why don't you start tattooing? Because I'm like, I was looking for a part-time job, but part-time job is very scarce in the Philippines because there's very few businesses that would
Well, sorry to cut you off. Even working at Jollibee, they only accept
full-time.
people. They only accept full time, but they're looking for someone with like a diploma or a degree.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
you can't.
Like a
Yeah,
4-year diploma
yeah,
to be a
yeah,
cashier.
yeah. You can't work as a high school kid there. But I heard if you do work as a high school kid, then you're very poor.
Yes.
You're very, very poor.
Not only that like you won't have the opportunity to go to school at the same time. So how people would strategize it is they would study for a year and then stop for another year to save up money and go to work, and then they would go back to school. So it's a longer journey and a process. For a 4-year course that takes 8 years or more, because sometimes people have failing grades and you have to retake. That's what happened to me. But that's okay.
Yeah.
And then this guy he's like, why don't you just go tattooing, because you'll have you can manage your own schedule. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. So he's like, do you have a spot? And I'm like, yeah, I guess we could go to my granny's house. We have like a couple rooms there. And it's like, when do you want to learn? And I'm like, I don't know, whenever you could teach me. He's like, why don't we eat at the restaurant right now? And then after we eat, let's go to your granny's place and have a tattoo session. And so that's what we did. We went to my granny's house. We set up in our balcony and I tattooed my friend. It was the shittiest tattoo I have ever done, but it really did spark something in me. If I didn't do that tattoo that night, I wouldn't be doing tattoos here in Canada.
Do you guys still keep in touch, that friend?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was like,
so sweet of him.
it is very sweet of him. I always offer him to can we cover up your tattoo? And he would always say no.
Yeah, he's proud of it.
He's very, very proud of it. And, that makes me very happy. So I'm like, how about I just do you another tattoo, just to make up for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You. And then she's like, okay, deal. And then that's how it is. Up to this day, I'm very, very grateful for my friends.
Yeah. So for the tattoos that you make, are they spiritual as well for people?
For some, yeah, because most of the tattoos that I've done lately are tied to most of them are memorial tattoos. So it is tied to death and to commemorate their loved ones. And for that, I add some other symbolisms in there that represents their loved ones, flowers that are dear to them. And yeah, just very, very subtle, but every piece of it is very well thought of. And I do lots of research about them. There's this long process of consultation, like an interview, what each piece means to a client.
Okay. And how do these tattoos, how do you think these protect these people or empower them?
I think it empowers them in some way. It gives them comfort, that's how I think of it. It gives them comfort that this person who they're dedicating their tattoos are a very, very good part of their life. And somehow this person made their life better, and they're just another realm. They're still there with them. And yeah, there's love, and they feel the love in there,
Yeah. When I go through a tough time, my dad's still alive, my tatay, nanay, my stepmom, stepdad, they're still alive, all my siblings. But I always access a memory of them to endure the hardships in life. And I feel like when it's on your skin, right, maybe your forearm, every time you look at that, you could just, there's that physical real life reminder
Mhm.
that it's just like, this is why I keep going.
Yes.
This is what makes me human. This is, I feel loved, I feel compassion, or even if it's not about someone, it's an idea or a symbol that gets you to where you want to be. And
That is.
even if it's not just hardship, maybe you just want to be thankful.
Mhm.
Maybe you just want to feel unconditional love from God. Maybe you just want to be more present, right? So in your work as a tattoo artist, how do you incorporate like the traditional Filipino tattoo symbolism into modern designs?
Into modern designs, there's this thing called modern tattooing and old traditional designs. To be honest, there's not much Filipino clients that has gone to me to do Filipino tattoos. Not only because, Filipinos are very known to be very frugal. So, like, tattoos is a luxury. It is not a priority for them. There's a couple ones. There's this one guy, Kuya Steve. He has this Carabao tattooed on him, and how I incorporated that into a modern tattoo and from old, Filipino beliefs. I've added some tribals in there that holds meaning and old Filipino symbols. He wanted this Carabao. And Carabao are, hardworking animals. They work in the farm. They're strong, they're the tractors of the farmers there. So he wanted that. And so how I did his tattoos, we've did a lot of research for tribal patterns and also what is the meaning behind the symbolism of a carabao. What's the meaning behind it? And so that's what we did. It's neo-tribal, neo-trad and tribal, combination of both. And that's what I had been wanting to put more out there, especially for Filipinos who wants to reconnect with their roots and wants to know with their roots.
Yeah, that's really cool. The caribou tattoo.
Mhm.
It's just, yeah, no, I feel like that's kind of goes hand in hand with Filipinos, right? I
Mhm.
always see like the farmer Filipinos,
Mhm.
right? They're always on the caribou or like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
just in the like the fields and all
Mhm.
that. And I see that everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like endangered species now, which is sad. But like it's a good reminder to actually, take care of them too,
Yeah.
because they're dying species, and how much roots or how much their importance their importance in our culture.
Yeah. You're very good with keeping connected with people, it seems, and you seem really ambitious and you seem like you really know what you want, hey? Because like from uh I know what it's like to be Filipino, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're still kind of really traditional, at least for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. And when you pursue art, I know that gets a lot of backlash. I'm sure you probably had to endure a lot of judgment, right? A lot of kind of the naysayers, like what are you gonna eat?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
To be honest, I don't know what I want. Sometimes I just follow my instincts
Like your
and
heart, yeah.
and then see what works. I do a lot of experiment though, see what works and what doesn't work. Before I tried Filipino tattoos or wants to do more Filipino tattoos, I tried lots of different tattoos like watercolor, fine line, realism. And yeah, just like it led me to, and I'm like, my friend told me, like, we talk about this realization that I'm always in pursuit of knowing other people's culture or knowing other things, what is out there when I'm like, it gave it it led me back to my roots. It's always something that is always been there and always present and always inside me. And I'm like, yeah, why didn't I look into my roots? Like we have all these other tattoos that the world, should know about where they came from, like the sigil tattoos, which is very, very popular in the Bisayan region, but not a lot of people knows that, right? Or what they meant.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, why not put it out there? Why haven't I thought of it? Why I was like looking at other things when it was just like right here. I like, knowing it since I was a child. Why haven't I thought of it?
Yeah. Why didn't I decide on this sooner? I could have started when I was like 10. Could have started when I was like 5. Like that's what I always think about, right? Because you've got this thriving tattoo business, right? Where people come to you with you interview them first and you get to know kind of what they want. You help them design it so it's unique.
It's
and
more
it's
of a collaboration.
Yeah, collaboration. So not only is it a creation of yours, but it's also a reflection of who that person that you're tattooing is. There's a lot of meaning there. And I'm sure a lot of people come out of the service feeling fulfilled, you adding value to their lives. I'm sure you're changing lives out there. And
I hope so.
Yeah. And anytime they look at that tattoo, it's like it reminds them of that beloved person that passed away, or that the religion that they have, or just their favorite food. And it's from you, right? And I feel that that's very, very essential. And I think you're doing a great service to our community, not only within the Filipino community, but also towards the Edmontonians and Canadians. And
I really think though that tattooing itself really does help people, or like change people's lives, because like we've talked about earlier, how like tattoos are like spells, what you put in your body gives you power. And I've noticed that cycle too. When you put something good in your body, you feel good. And then when you feel good, you do a lot of good things, right? And then when you pick a bad tattoos, there are tattoo like people out there who does put hate tattoos on their body, and then it just lowers the vibration and everything. Or like just not picking the right piece, or picking the artist who doesn't have their best intention on their client. That does change people's life, because once you get like a really bad tattoo, you feel insecure, you feel bad about yourself. You don't want to show parts of your body. Like if you have a bad tattoos on your leg, then suddenly you don't want to show that to people because you feel insecure and you don't feel good about yourself. And and I guess that's what tattoo holds power over us,
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And yes, tattoos, just the vibe can really determine the next point of conversation when you're at the sauna, when you're at the beach, when you wear a short sleeve and it's on your forearm. It could send a message to someone.
It does. And it affects like how people approach you, because tattoos does speak a lot about the person. Do
you have any last words for viewers, listeners that may be struggling out there and they need a little bit of hope?
For artists or just people in general?
Because you could do both.
Well, just keep going. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship, and I really look forward to seeing more of your projects.
I look forward to seeing you at the Filipino Fiesta.
I'll be there.
Yes. You will meet a lot of interesting people there for sure.
Do they have lechon?
I hope so.
Yeah.
There's probably lots of stalls there. There's food for sure. There's lots of performers. Also, I will be performing there. So I hope to see you there as well.
Like you also do like music or
I sing.
Oh, you sing?
I sing.
Oh, wow.
Well, like it's only a hobby for me,
A hobby.
It's something to like, take me away from work and doesn't make feel work.
Yeah.
So yeah, on
Yeah.
my pastime, that's what I do.
Typical Filipino,
Yeah.
always singing in the karaoke machine. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much
Yeah,
again.
you're welcome. I'll
Mhm.
have to have you on again in the future.
Oh, I
Yeah.
look forward to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And as always, to everyone listening, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope, strengthen your faith, and keep it long term. Khin Ohiman, everyone.
Mhm. Thank you.
Peace.
See you later. Damn, you're so good at this, eh?
Am I?
Yeah.
Did I make you feel comfortable? Did I get your story right?
Yeah,